The Declaration of Human Rights is a milestone document in the history of human rights. Created by the United Nations Committee that was chaired by Eleanor Roosevelt, the document was drafted by representatives with different legal and cultural backgrounds from all regions of the world. Approved by the United Nations General Assembly in Paris on December 10, 1948, it was a common standard for all people and all nations. It set out, for the first time ever, fundamental human rights to be universally protected and has been translated into over 500 languages. The Universal Declaration of Human Rights is considered to be the foundation of international human rights law.
Before us is greatly advanced by an assembly which reflects as accurately as this one has the problems of our swiftly changing world. The world profits by this annual reminder of those things which must be thought about and worked on during the months between our sessions. Here too we face day after day a tragic reality of our time, the isolation of a small group of our members from the rest of us. I pray this will not always be. Throughout this session I've watched the signs of a change in attitude. I've been disappointed, but I'm not discouraged. All of us must keep on hoping and working for a change, constantly asking ourselves if we are doing all we can to make clear our desire to live in peace and friendship with all our neighbors in the world community. As we separate, it is right that we should be gravely concerned with the gaps that still separate us from each other, with the problems we have left unsolved. Time will help us find answers which now elude us.
The preamble to the 30 Articles of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. Whereas recognition of the inherent dignity and of the equal and inalienable rights of all members of the human family is the foundation of freedom, justice, and peace in the world. Whereas disregard and contempt for human rights have resulted in barbarous acts which have outraged the conscience of mankind, and the advent of a world in which human beings shall enjoy freedom of speech and belief and freedom from fear and want has been proclaimed as the highest aspiration of the common people.
Whereas it is essential, if man is not to be compelled to have recourse as a last resort to rebellion against tyranny and oppression, that human rights should be protected by the rule of law.
Whereas it is essential to promote the development of friendly relations between nations.
Whereas the peoples of the United Nations have in the Charter reaffirmed their faith in fundamental human rights, in the dignity and worth of the human person, and in equal rights of men and women, and have determined to promote social progress and better standards of life in larger freedoms.
Whereas member states have pledged themselves to achieve, in cooperation with the United Nations, the promotion of universal respect for and the observance of human rights and fundamental freedoms. Whereas a common understanding of these rights and freedoms is of the greatest importance for the full realization of this pledge.
Now, therefore, the General Assembly proclaims this Universal Declaration of Human Rights as a common standard of achievement for all peoples and all nations, to the end that every individual and every organ of society, keeping this declaration constantly in mind, shall strive, by teaching and education, to promote respect for these rights and freedoms, and by progressive measures, national and international, to secure their universal and effective recognition and observance, both among the peoples of member states themselves and among the peoples of territories under their jurisdiction.
Rights.
Everyone has the right freely to participate in the cultural life of the community, to enjoy the arts, and to share in scientific advancement and its benefits. Everyone has the right to the protection of the moral and material interests resulting from any scientific, literary, or artistic production of which he or she is the author.
People killing, people dying. Children hurting, I hear them crying. Can you practice what you preaching? Would you turn the other cheek again? Mama, 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 tell us what the hell is going on. Can't we all just get along? Father, 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 help us. Send some guidance from above. Cause people got me questioning. Where's the love? Yeah, what's going on with the world, mama? Where's the love? Yeah, people living like they ain't got no mama. Where's the love? I think they're all distracted by the drama and attracted to the trauma, mama. Where's the love? I think they don't understand the concept or the meaning of karma. Where's the love? Overseas, yeah, they're trying to stop terrorism. Where's the love? Over here on the streets, the police shoot the people, put the bullets in them. Where's the love? But if you only got love for your own race, where's the love? Then you're gonna leave space for others to discriminate. Where's the love? And to discriminate only generates hate. And when you hate, then you're bound to get irate. Man, this is what you demonstrate. And that's exactly how hate works and operates. Man, we gotta set it straight. Take control of your mind, just meditate. And let your soul just gravitate to the love sort of whole. It just ain't the same, always a change. Where's the love? New days are strange, just the world insane. Where's the love? Nation dropping bombs, killing our little ones. Where's the love? Ongoing suffering as the youth die young. Every time I look up, every time I look down, no one's on the common ground. Where's the love? And if you never speak truth, then you never know what love sounds. Where's the love? And if you never know love, then you never know God. Where's the love? Where's the love, y'all? I don't know. Where's the truth, y'all? I don't know. Feel the weight of the world on my shoulder. As I'm getting older, y'all, people get colder. Most of us only care about money making. Selfishness got us following the wrong direction. Wrong information over shown by the media. Negative images, it's the make criteria. Infecting the young minds faster than bacteria. Kids wanna act like what they see in the cinemas. What happened to the love and the values of humanity? What happened to the love and the fairness and equality? Where's the love? Instead of spreading love, we're spreading animosity. Where's the love? Lack of understanding leading us away from unity. Where's the love?
Everyone is entitled to all the rights and freedoms set forth in this declaration, without distinction of any kind, such as race, color, sex, language, religion, political or other opinion, national or social origin, property, birth, or status. Furthermore, no distinction shall be made on the basis of political, jurisdictional, or international status of the country or territory to which a person belongs, whether it be independent, trust, non-self-governing, or any other limitation of sovereignty.
is torn about the life that it's bound to live. A sun and moon in a modest home is all they ask in the Lord to give. But politics and big events, they never seem to notice the little guy. So make a plan or simply hold a hand, but don't ever be a passerby. Tolerance or violence, and the whole world goes to war. Is one enough, or is one too many? Before we say no more. But could you ever love a pot of gold? Or could you ever love another lonely soul? And could you ever find love that was oceans wide? Could you ever find love in another stranger's eyes? Give a little tolerance, tolerance. We need you more and more. So lend a hand or hold a friend that's in need of a life support. Draw a picture or share a whisper, any way that you can rise above. And when the end is near, who is gonna volunteer to be the last one to die for love?
All human beings are born free and equal in dignity and rights. They are endowed with reason and conscience and should act towards one another in a spirit of brotherhood.
Hold on to me, don't let me go. Who cares what they see? Who cares what they know? Your first name is free, last name is dumb. But you still believe in where we're from. Man's right flower, it's in every living thing. Mind, use your power. Spirit, use your wings. Freedom, freedom, freedom. Hold on to me, don't let me go. Cheetahs need to eat, run antelope. Your first name is King, last name is dumb. 'Cause you still believe in everyone. When the baby first breathes, when night sees sunrise, when the well freedom, breathing. We are from freedom, the electric one. Just a shock you see. He left us the sun. Atoms in the air, organisms in the sea. Sun and yes man are made of the same things. Freedom! 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 Freedom!
Men and women of full age without any limitation due to race, nationality, or religion have the right to marry and to found a family. They are entitled to equal rights as to marriage, during marriage, and at its dissolution. Marriage shall be entered into only with the free and full consent of the intending spouses. The family is the natural and fundamental group unit of society and is entitled to protection by society and the state.
Are there so many songs about rainbows? What's on the other side? Rainbows are visions, but only illusions. Rainbows have nothing to hide. So we've been told, and some choose to believe it. I know they're wrong, wait and see. Someday we'll find it, the rainbow connection. The lovers, the dreamers, and me. Who said that every wish would be heard and answered? Who wished on the morning star? Somebody thought of it, and someone believed it. And look what it's done so far. What's so amazing that keeps us stargazing? What do we think we might see? Someday we'll find it, the rainbow connection. The lovers,
I live in Louisville, Kentucky.
Je vis à Lyon, en France.
Delhi, India.
Redwood City.
In South Africa, to be more specific, in Cape Town, Soweto.
Vilnius, Lithuania.
Kenya in Africa.
Maui, Hawaii.
Tokyo, New York.
Mountain View, California.
Burkina Faso.
Montreal, Canada.
Barcelona.
New Zealand.
Istanbul.
El Salvador.
Cupertino, California.
Human rights means access to very, very basic things such as life, school,
clothing, housing, medical care.
Having the right to water, having the right to food, having the right to dignity.
To me, human rights is an international agreement that everyone, regardless of race,
religion, gender,
sexual orientation, origin, ability,
ethnicity, background,
is accorded freedom, equality, and respect.
Pour moi, les droits de l'homme, c'est quand tous les humains ont les mêmes droits et sont égaux.
The freedom to raise my kids the way I want to, without being judged all the time.
It says human rights, so the rights which belongs to every human.
Dla mnie prawa człowieka to prawo powiedzieć, co się myśli.
Treating everyone equally.
Es ist daher unsere Bürgerpflicht, politisch verfolgten Mitmenschen zu helfen.
I have the right as a grown woman to all these things, and I am thankful for them.
It gives me power to speak and to be myself and to embrace myself. Yes.
Fundamental rights that everyone should have. I think they often get neglected or overlooked. Through empathy and stepping outside of ourselves, something that we all really need to focus on and concentrate on, seeing the humanity in everyone.
One story that I remember is my housekeeper in a very large country happened to be a member of a religious minority. And he had saved up his money over the years and borrowed some money and bought a kiosk where he sold telephone cards and lottery tickets. And so he would work during the daytime as a house cleaner and a houseboy. And then he would go home at night and he would man his kiosk. And one night, 3 people robbed his kiosk, and they robbed him of thousands of dollars because he had just sold a large number of lottery tickets over the last few days. And when he called the police, they refused to help him because he was a member of the religious minority and because one of the robbers had himself been a police officer.
During my first tour in Iraq, when we discovered the mass graves of Iraqis that had been killed by Saddam Hussein, we had liberated the town in which these executions had occurred, and it's an unforgettable experience to see that and its effect.
Over being black and male, I was denied a promotion. God would have it that the president of McDonnell Douglas Aircraft and the vice president of Hughes Aircraft was walking through, and the guy that I got my job was asleep on top of an inspection surface table, and within 4 hours they wanted him out.
North Korea literally kidnapped some citizens of Japan. One in particular was a young girl. I believe she was 13 years old at the time. Her name was Megumi Yokota. And she was walking home from school, and the North Koreans literally came to the shores of Japan and abducted this young woman, and she has never been returned to her family to this day.
And have you ever seen anybody's human rights being violated? Like when you thought they should have a certain right and they didn't?
Yes. Taken from my dad.
And what happened? Like,
he's worked so hard for us, and he came
what he thought that he had the right papers for him to work here. And just knowing that he can just be kicked out of this country. And he's worked so hard. It wasn't easy. We've seen him suffer, and he's seen us suffer. He considers this is his country. This is his place. This is his home. And everything can just be gone, just like that.
Thank you for sharing that. You're speaking for a lot of people.
Yeah.
The Human Rights Watch mission statement reads, Human Rights Watch defends the rights of people worldwide. We scrupulously investigate abuses, expose the facts widely, and pressure those with power to respect rights and secure justice. Human Rights Watch is an independent international organization that works as part of a vibrant movement to uphold human dignity and advance the cause of human rights for all.
When I'm asked what human rights means to me, I think of compassion, fairness, justice, equity, and responsibility to those less fortunate.
I think of dignity, I think of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, and I think about the fact that every person is born equal and with dignity and with the same rights under the law.
I also think it means access to resources that we take so for granted in this community, such as the right to education, access to the right to health care.
In a better world where human rights are truly understood and lived by, every child grows up in a caring environment with access to food, health, and education.
Rules about how governments must treat people. They reflect the basic dignity of every person, and they prescribe what governments must do and what they must refrain from doing to respect that dignity.
Human Rights Watch is a nonprofit, non-governmental human rights organization made up of roughly 400 staff members around the globe. Its staff consists of human rights professionals, including country experts, lawyers, journalists, and academics of diverse backgrounds and nationalities. Established in 1978, Human Rights Watch is known for its accurate fact-finding, impartial reporting, effective use of media, and targeted advocacy, often in partnership with local human rights groups. Human Rights Watch meets with governments, the United Nations, regional groups like the African Union and the European Union, financial institutions, and corporations to press for changes in policy and practices that promote human rights and justice around the world. Where can you find Human Rights Watch? Anywhere there are human rights violations. Anywhere there are people in need. Anywhere around the world where human dignity needs an advocate. Alone, we may feel helpless in the face of brutality. Together, we can stop it. Tolerance. Empathy. Humanity. Friendship. Peace. Acceptance. Friendship, love, acceptance, humanity, equality, rights. Everyone has the right to freedom of opinion and expression. This right includes freedom to hold opinions without interference and to seek, receive, and impart information and ideas through any media and regardless of frontiers.
Content, this world is tintless, but it's far from colorblind. And I was so sure someday I would find the crack between the black and white, a fact that might ignite and change your mind. But they said, who do you think you are? What do you think you'll be? Why you run around town thinking all these crazy things that ain't true? So just know your place just wasn't meant to be. Try and you'll get a taste of good reality. And they say, dream, but not too big. Reach, but not too wide. Think the impossible as long as it's in black and white. And leave, but not too high. Shine, but not too bright. Think the impossible as long as it's in black and white. And left, right, right, left, right, left, left, right, right, left, right, left, left, right, right, left, right, left, left, right, right, left, right, left. You can move mountains, but don't you try to climb. You can write the songs, don't get me wrong. Just know the words can never rhyme. And I was so sure if I gave them a little time, maybe they'd ignore it, press fast forward, but they simply press rewind. And they say, who do you think you are? Why do you think you'll be? Why you run around town thinking all these crazy things that ain't true? So just know your place just wasn't meant to be. Try and you'll get a taste of good reality. And they say, dream, but not too big. Reach, but not too wide. Think the impossible as long as it's in black and white. And leave, but not too high. Shine, but not too bright. Think the impossible as long as it's in black and white. And left, right, left, left, right, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, left, right, right, left, right, left. No dreams allowed, no standing out. Stay in the crowd where it's black and white. Heads in the clouds, just come back down. Feet on the ground where it's black and white. Dream, but not too big, not too wide. The impossible as long as it's in black and white. And leave, but not too high. Shine, but not too bright. The impossible as long as it's in black and white. And dream on, why you gotta dream so big? How you gonna fit inside this box? They're trying hard to fit you in. Hey, dream on, why you gotta dream so bright? For you to dream in technicolor. It's not okay. It ain't right. It's black and white. Right, right, left, right, left, left, right, right, left, right, left, left, right, right, left, right, left, left, right, right, left, right, left.
Everyone has the right to life, liberty, and security of person.
So you say this is human, Your heartbeat versus mine. I'm in chains cause I'm choosing, showing love or living life. I shouldn't have to leave where I stand. I shouldn't have to change who I am to count as a human. Feel my pulse with your hand on my heart. You know it beats just as hard as yours. Feel my pulse. Oh, feel my pulse. Can't you see that I'm scarred? I'm just the same as you are. So just feel my pulse. Oh, I wish I could reach them, strip away what separates. It's the same air we're breathing, same tears run down our face. So I don't have to leave where I stand, and I don't have to change who I am to count as a human. Feel my pulse with your hand on my heart. You know it beats just as hard as yours. Feel my pulse. Feel my pulse. Can't you see that I'm scarred? I'm just the same as you are. So just feel my pulse. With your hand on my heart, you know it beats just as hard as yours. Feel my pulse. Feel my pulse. Can't you see that I'm scarred? I'm just the same as you are. So just feel my pulse. See that we're human. Feel my pulse. See that we're human. Pulse.
Everyone has the right to education. Education shall be free, at least in the elementary and fundamental stages. Elementary education shall be compulsory. Technical and professional education shall be made generally available, and higher education shall be equally accessible to all on the basis of merit. Education shall be directed to the full development of the human personality and to the strengthening of respect for human rights and fundamental freedoms. It shall promote understanding, tolerance, and friendship among all nations, racial or religious groups, and shall further the activities of the United Nations for the maintenance of peace.
Sometimes I'm We got to live together. I am no better, and neither are you. We are the same, whatever we do. You love me, you hate me, you know me, and then you can figure out the bag I'm in. I am everyday people. Yeah, yeah.
Everyone has the right to freedom of thought, conscience, and religion. This right includes freedom to change his religion or belief, and freedom, either alone or in community with others, and in public or private, to manifest his religion or belief in teaching, practice, worship, and observance.
What if someone made a soda that caused everyone to love each other? Ooh, oh yeah, that sounds so good to me. And if just a tiny pill could make us see that we're truly sisters and brothers. Ooh, oh yeah, that sounds so nice to me. And we would have no time to waste on trivial things like war and pain. 'Cause we'd be filled with joy to know through love the universe we changed to be all about the love again. All about the love, my friend. This whole world would be all about the love again. We'd be all about the love again. No need to pretend. This whole world would be all about the love again. What if someone came up with a lotion that made everybody start sharing? Oh yeah, that feels so good to me. Yeah, yeah. Oh, insomnia, irresistible. Cologne that with one spray that brings the second thought of caring. Ooh, oh yeah, essence is on point to me.
Everyone has the right to freedom of movement and residence within the borders of each state. Everyone has the right to leave any country, including his own, and to return to his country.
You may write me down in history with your bitter, twisted lies. You may tread me in the very dirt, but still, like dust, I'll rise. Does my sassiness upset you? Why are you beset with gloom? 'Cause I walk like I've got oil wells pumping in my living room. Just like moons and like suns with the certainty of tides. Just like hopes springing high. Still, I'll rise. Did you want to see me broken? Bowed head and lowered eyes. Shoulders falling down like teardrops. Weakened by my soulful cries. Does my haughtiness offend you? Don't you take it awful hard, 'cause I laugh like I've got gold mines digging in my own backyard. You may shoot me with your words. You may cut me with your eyes. You may kill me with your hatefulness, but still, like air, I'll rise. Does my sexiness upset you? Does it come as a surprise that I dance like I've got diamonds at the meeting of my thighs? Out of the huts of history shame, I rise. Up from a past that's rooted in pain, I rise. I'm a black ocean leaping and wide, welling and swelling I bear in the tide, leaving behind nights of terror and fear, I rise. Into a daybreak that's wondrously clear, I rise, bringing the gifts that my ancestors gave. I am the dream and the hope of the slave. I rise, I rise. I rise.
Right to equality. Freedom from discrimination. Right to life, liberty, and personal security. freedom from slavery. Freedom from torture and degrading treatment. Right to recognition as a person before the law. Right to equality before the law. Right to remedy by competent tribunal. Freedom from arbitrary arrest and exile. Right to fair public hearing. Right to be considered innocent until proven guilty. Freedom from interference with privacy, family, and home and correspondence. Right to free movement in and out of the country. Right to asylum in other countries from persecution. Right to nationality and the freedom to change it. Right to marriage and family. Right to own property. Freedom of belief and religion. Freedom of opinion and information. Right of peaceful assembly and association. Right to participate in government and free elections. Right to Social Security. Right to desirable work and to join trade unions. Right to rest and leisure. Right to adequate living standards. Right to education. Right to participate in the cultural life of community. Right to a social order that articulates this document. Community duties essential for the free and full development. Freedom from the state or personal interference in the above rights.